shock news last week. Why are you leaving Chelsea?
Listen, I've been in post for 12 years and I've dedicated my life to this place. I drive 4 hours every day, 6 days a week for 12 years. And I have a 5-year-old that needs more of his mummy, for sure. That's important. Family matters. And I think I've dedicated as much as I possibly can to this football club. I've loved every minute of it. And I think it's really important that, if possible, let's create a succession plan for me, much like Paul and I do with the players. So the time is right, and I will work with the club in the succession plan and do everything I can to make sure there is as good a transition as possible so that my successor can equally have the same level of success I have.
So I hear your answer there about better work-life balance. There has been reports in the press that perhaps new contract negotiations weren't going as planned or weren't being prioritised by the club. Did that have any impact on your decision?
I think it's fair to say you've all worked with me over many years. I believe in private conversations, so of course I'm disappointed to hear things being said in the press, but I want to make sure that I maintain my own professionalism in everything I do. I have a team to focus on. I've got games to win, and I don't think anything will come between me and the players and me and the fans. I understand Chelsea. I know Chelsea. This is my club. It will always be my club. And while I am sad on many, many levels, I've always said to the fans, there'll come that moment when I'm sat with them in the crowd, and I look forward to that come the end of the season. For now, the focus is, as always, on the game, and I'm not lying. We had the most unbelievable training session today. It was really, really top level from everyone, and the players are committed with me to make sure we ensure our position.
Do you feel like you still felt valued by the club? You've spoken about how much time you've dedicated, how much you've achieved. You've won pretty much every trophy there was to win. Did the club value your contribution, do you feel?
You know, I come to work every day with a group of people that some of them I've worked with like the entire time, not just players but staff. And what we have created down in that building is magical, and something that I know every player appreciates being a part of. As far as I'm concerned, the people I have worked with in that period have made me feel the best coach I can feel, though that's not always easy when you drop players or, you know, they're not playing week in, week out. So I leave at the end of the season knowing I've given everything and I've done everything. As I said before, conversations that are private between me and the club remain private on my end, and I will maintain that.
You mentioned you had a great training session just now.
Yep.
How did the players react? I believe they only found out just before it went public.
Yes, because I'm a professional and I had a job to do to coach the game, and it's important that the players hear it from me, not anyone else. I value communication and I value that relationship and those relationships with them. They understand. This is football. These things happen. Yes, it's quite unusual. You have one manager at a place for 12 years. I didn't necessarily envisage I'd be anywhere else, but that's life, and I will be. And I know that my goal is to make sure I leave this dressing room in the best possible place, because I know that when I started here at this football club, it was always my goal to leave it in a better place. And I'll make sure on my way out, I'll do absolutely everything to make sure that this football club stays at the top.
And how did the players react? What did they say to you?
I'm sure you can appreciate that's between us. We had a few hugs, and we're close, and that's always been the way. And like I said, they respect my decision, and they're ultimate professionals, and there is zero chance anyone will down tool.
Just the last question, Emma. It's been widely reported that you will be the new head coach of the US Women's National Team. What's next for you? Have you got any comment on that particular story?
I think, you know, what my answer is going to be. I'm not going to comment on that. You know, I'm contracted to Chelsea until the end of the season. And that's where my commitment lies right now.
Thanks, Emma.
Jo,
Thanks.
next please.
And obviously a long way to go until you leave at the end of the season, but has it been an emotional week?
Ooh, good question. Yes, really. Like, I think it's always a day that I never really wanted to see come, but I feel like I have to put myself first. You know, you dedicate so many hours to this job, not just the drive, and I've given it everything I can. And as I said before, it's just I've had to evaluate that and factor in. This isn't, you know, it's easy to say it's about work-life balance. Anything I'm going to do it well. But maybe it's about just having something different more than anything else. And I've taken this team to the top, and I always said that I wanted to leave at the top, and I'll maintain that. That's what I want to do. I would struggle going backwards at any point and then being in that or outstaying my welcome. Those things plague me. So it's not actually an easy thing to do, to leave at the top. I have a world-class team, but it's something I always made a promise to myself that I would do.
You say you're helping to work on a succession plan. Will you have a
Yeah.
direct say in your successor?
Well, Paul Green and I have run this team and this club, and the entire time I've been here, succession planning at every juncture. I think it would be so Chelsea of us to succession plan my exit. So of course I will be involved with those conversations. I think it's important that we, you know, really take the time to evaluate what the best fit will be. It's not about like for like replacements or anything like that. That's usually the wrong thing to do. But I think it's identifying what the needs are for the position, for the team, for the club, and collectively we will do that together.
You said in the last year or so that the Spanish national team job would be a dream job. Is a national team job something that excites you?
Yeah, I mean, I know I said that in an interview. Maybe as a little girl, I always, you know, thought that maybe one day that would come. But I always say this, you know, for most of us, we don't necessarily always fulfill every dream that we have. So while, you know, that, I think I probably would say that might always be an ambition of mine to do that. I think I'm just at the point where I have to consider something else, and that's the position I'm in right now. I don't, you know, contemplate anything more than taking these decisions. Don't come easy, and I think it's, you know, for some it might come as quite a surprise or a shock last week, but like I said, I'm putting the team first. I want to put the club first, and I want to make sure that give our football club the right preparation time, so that they're ready to continue in after me.
And final one from me, because there is a game this weekend, believe it
Oh
or
yeah,
not.
thank you for that.
What's team news? How's everyone looking?
Still no Melanie Leopolds or Guru Wrighton. Everybody else is fit.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
News, can we come to you next, please?
Yeah. Hi, Emma.
Hey.
You just mentioned there a phrase, you didn't want to stay here, outstaying your welcome. Is this 100% your decision, or is it the old football mutual consent? You both parties have agreed this is a good time.
No, this is my decision. As I said, when you coach at an elite level and you have to perform at an elite level and you have standards and expectations that I have, anything less than the best is not acceptable. And maintaining that, on a daily grind it's a lot. It takes a lot of work, and you know, I think it is important. I'm a mum, and not many football managers sit up here and talk about that in the same way. My little boy has been extraordinary to allow me to do this, but it's challenging for him because this weekend's a good example. We've got a game away at Everton, back away at Real Madrid, away, and I'm talking to some of these guys, Susie in the room, you know, we've got children. It's difficult, and I think there's still a lot of work to be done in the women's game for people with children. And I shouldn't just limit that, but people with children, like, we have lives, and I have to think about this is actually not a selfish decision. This is a selfless decision. This is about putting first some other things in my life, and I'm ready for that.
In terms of that, I mean, you have been linked with lots of rumours about you going to America. I mean, the lifestyle in America for you and your son would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Look, I think picking someone up from school is incredible. You can talk about those experiences. I look forward to picking him up from school, taking him to after school club or doing some other bits. You know, just having a little bit more flexibility. I've lived far away for a long, long time, and I don't get home till quite late, 6 days a week. And, you know, I just need to take stock and take check, and for that reason, you know, this is why I'm in the position I am.
In terms of the WSL, a lot of people I've read this week, and a lot of people I've heard this week and spoken to, say that the game in WSL, training pitches, kit, food, basic stuff, is all down to you. You campaigned for it. You, for want of a better expression, got it done in this country. How much is the sport in this country going to miss you when you go?
It's down to us, not me. There's many people in this room that make sure they amplify that voice, and collectively we've applied pressure. Collectively we've challenged and raised standards. Everyone that knows me, everyone that works with me, for me, they know I've only ever had the game's best interest at my heart. I love the women's game, and you know, I'm so grateful for the opportunities I've been given, but I also know my personality, and I'm not afraid to do tough things, even if sometimes I'm the one who takes the battering from it. But I'm all right with that, because if I see scores of girls up and down the country, whether it's getting more prize money, as is the case, to better facilities, you don't expect anything less from me to say I still don't think there's enough in place in terms of minimum standards. I still think there's ways to go to do that, but I've played my part, and you know, I accept that role, and I'm grateful for all of those people that have done the same.
And the last one in two parts. First of all, you haven't won the Champions League, so it's not on your CV. Is that a real burning start next week? Is that a real burning ambition? And secondly, Wenger, Fergie, great dynasty they set up at their football clubs. When they left, it kind of fell apart. Are you worried that could happen here?
Well, first of all, I have won the Champions League.
I remember Chelsea.
No, but I think it's important. I had this conversation with Jane Ludlow and Kira Grant this morning. We had this chat about a game out in Russia. We had a really funny conversation about being... Kira reminded me we were 4-1 up, and Emma Byrne, a couple of things sort of didn't quite go right, and the ball went 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, and all I could hear was Vic Akers in my ear, because I'd taken the decision to play Kira Grant at centre back and Jane in midfield, and he wanted to do the other opposite, but he was in London being the kit manager for Arsenal. And I said every time the ball went in the net, the rifles were shooting, and all I kept thinking is Vic's going to kill me if we don't win this game. Anyway, we went down the other end, won the game 5-4. Kira Grant took an elbow, her nose splattered, and she got the best nose job in the world in Russia. I mean, that team was so exceptional, and I valued forget the title piece. I know what I did in that team. They know what I did. And I don't have anything missing in my cabinet. Of course, it would be lovely to do that, but I don't feel empty about that. And the last part, I can't answer that other than to say, up until the end, I will give absolutely everything to this football club, and up until the end, I will make sure I help whomever is, you know, my successor, give them the platform to be successful. This is a wonderful playing squad. It isn't the end of it. In fact, I think we've reinvented it, and I think there's a wonderful young generation coming through. And I will pass the baton in the best way possible to make sure that they're as successful as I am.